third time in 4 events on the first couple of rows, but Ananda Mikula of Indonesia has had his best qualifying effort in 5th. He's ahead of Michael Devaney of Ireland, then Jos Verstappen and Thomas Enger. We've got Australia and Switzerland back there in 9th and 10th. 11th is Patrick Carpentier of Canada. Watch out for him, he's been quick here. Stephen Simpson of South Africa's next, followed by Matt Halliday, Adam Khan, Martin Qua, then Christian Fittipaldi, Enrico Tocacello, then Cesar Campanico, his first outing for Portugal. Phil Giebler drives for the USA, then it's Graham Rahal for Lebanon, Matthias Lauda for Austria, and Sebastian Stahl for Germany, also making his debut in the series. So we've got a new boy on the front row in Darren Manning. We've got a new boy on the back row as well in the shape of Sebastian Stahl driving for Team Germany. And there, as we carry on our look from the front of the grid, there is Alex Premat, John, looking pretty confident, the French team, despite qualifying on the second row.
Yes, I mean, it was a big task that France set themselves to run 2 drivers, and because of Saturday morning being wet, then going dry, it didn't give Alexander Premat the time that he needed. But really, what I'm going to be interested in is, as this rolling start gets underway, we know that Alexander Premat can be very, very, well, almost hyperactive the way he jumps around the racetrack. He wants to get to the front as quickly as possible. France weren't quickest in the warm-up, they were only 7th quickest, and in fact their top speed was down, well, it was in that 278 km/h bracket, not as quick as Ireland or as quick as one or two of the others. So Alexander Premat for sure is going to do something special, and whether he does too much special, then that I will wait to see in a minute.
We had a quick glimpse.
They may want to push that car into the pit lane if they cannot get it fired up very quickly. As we look at Graham Rahal, who's had a disappointment here in qualifying, they had to change the engine on that car. Hopefully he'll find a little bit more speed, but it didn't really materialise this morning. He was, I think, about the slowest car down the straight with only 265 km/h.
I think the change came after the warm-up. I think they were changing the engine after that, so
they certainly
hopefully
needed to do that. Yes, they worked feverishly on Germany. They've got to make a decision at some point now. That's the time you've got to do it. Push the car away. Oh, they got it going. He's got us fired up, and now he will just make his way around the track. He'll be able to catch up to the tail of the field before they complete this outlap, being led around by Alex Young for Team Malaysia.
So Sebastian Stahl does get underway. That was a little bit of a scare for the German team, but he is underway. This is a big step up for Stahl. He's never really raced anything quite like this. He has raced Formula Renault in the past, and he's also a former winner of the Seat Leon Cupra Championship as well. So he's going to try and catch up to the back of the pack. There is Jos Verstappen. And interesting news this weekend concerning the Dutch team, Dutch fans as well, is that the first round of A1 Grand Prix has now been confirmed to begin at Zandvoort in Holland.
And I can assure you that will be a mega event. I think the whole nation is going to turn up. If you can get within 100 miles of Zandvoort, you'll be very lucky. But sure, a racetrack that will bring out the best of Jos Verstappen, and an ideal setting for the first round of the second series of A1GP, and also great fish restaurant for the way.
Well, you shall be looking forward to that. Malaysia leads them round on this formation lap. Darren Manning for Great Britain, of course, starting on the front row as well. He's got a lot of padding up on the cockpit side there. That's so that he can rest his head against it if his neck gets too tired.
Yeah, and particularly it's on the left-hand side of the cockpit. That's going to assist him, particularly coming out of turns 12 and 13. There's another massive corner here, but it's a left-hand corner. That's turn 7. In qualifying, it was flat with new tyres, but as the race progresses, you'll find drivers having to feather the throttle. But it is through turns 12 and 13 that most drivers who have suffered neck problems have been suffering it in that particular corner.
Now they're heading down this long straight. It is the longest straight used in A1 Grand Prix. 1.1 kilometres long, so they're sitting on there at full throttle for some 12 to 15 seconds, and remember the power boost will be very, very useful along there.
Yes, but you only activate it when you go into 6th or top gear. If you lift your throttle for any reason, it disengages power boost button, so you have to keep your foot flat all the way down the straight. It will then disengage once you lift off the throttle, of course, go down through the sequence of gears. I would expect to see Alex Young and maybe Darren Manning, but Darren has never had any experience using power boost before, so this is maybe a disadvantage as opposed to that of Alex Young.
Here we go then, the final sprint race of the inaugural season of A1 Grand Prix is about to get underway. We have a new poleman in Malaysia and a brand new driver for Great Britain, and we're racing here in China. Away we go. Good start for Alex Young, and watch the French car in the middle. Alexander Premat trying to squeeze down in the middle. Manning trying to shut the door. Into the first 2 corners we go, and it's still going to be very tight. Manning running around the edge, trying to get into second place. Still side by side with the French car, and he's got an eye Manning.
A good job by Darren Manning in his first outing in an A1GP car. He consolidated his front row in good position, but Alex Young has got the advantage and has taken it. And as they dive down into turn 6, the cars all over the racetrack. Ireland going down the inside, trying to make up a position.
So Malaysia's been given a little bit of a breathing space here as the battle continues for second. Great Britain, France, then Mexico, the Netherlands ahead of Ireland, Canada on the attack, trying to get past the Czech Republic. Tricky place to do that.
Yes, as you saw, the Czech Republic back end of the car, step sideways, cars side by side. Everybody got round turn 1 cleanly. Italy going around the outside of Stephen Simpson for South Africa.
Italy down the inside, that's Enrico Torricello, he spun it! Italy spun in the middle of the pack there.
Well, he had to go down the inside, he had to put the brakes on hard, and that's the consequence. He locked up the rear brake and around she went.
Netherlands trying to gain more ground there. You can also see Indonesia lost a couple of places. New Zealand trying to move up. New Zealand started 13th, but they've definitely gained at least 2 places on the power boost. Let's see who uses the power boost button heading down the long straight. The leader is Malaysia. Great Britain in second place. France in third, under a pressure from Mexico, and it's Mexico on the power boost. Look at the little red glow in the button on the bottom of the screen. Mexico's going for third place, and here comes Mexico. Watch the red car down the inside, and I think he's through.
Ireland also, they lost position at the start. They've regained that position. Ireland ahead of Holland into turn 14. Canada spun round.
Patrick Carpentier for Canada has spun at turn 14. Oh, somebody else has got involved as well. What a pity. And that's a disastrous start to the day for them.
I think that's Switzerland, in fact.
Yeah, looks like it. Malaysia leads from Great Britain in second place. Third now is Mexico. France in fourth, and not seeming having that incredible pace that we've seen. Brazil have gained a huge number of places. Brazil's up to 10th, and they're a battle between USA and Lebanon.
Yes, Graham Rahal goes a long way round, but he gets into trouble on the outside of turn 1. It is slippery out there. Anybody who got there in practice ended up spinning off track.
USA in 15th position, Lebanon 16th, Austria in 17th. China lost quite a few places on that first lap. Their less experienced driver at the wheel did struggle a bit on the opening lap, and he's now down in 19th position. Still battles there. Brazil followed by Australia and South Africa, but we're riding on board with the Netherlands. He's in 6th.
Running behind Ireland. Ireland got past down that long straight, but the problem is you take wing out of the car, you then find you've got a lot less grip in the technical part of the racetrack. That's the balance that Ireland have sought. It works in their favour on the straight. They've got to be very careful around the slower parts of the racetrack.
So as the car of Team Canada comes back into the pits, the Swiss car being pushed away, and we've lost 2 potential front runners from the sprint race. They'll have to look towards the feature.
So we've got Ireland now about a second behind France. Watch to see whether that huge straight line advantage is going to help them as they go down the straight.
Malaysia, yes, with that gap of just under a second. There is the car of Patrick Carpentier into the pits. Disappointing. He's been pretty much on the pace throughout the weekend, but it's not the way he wanted it to go. Now, watch the leaders. Malaysia with a gap over Great Britain, then it's Mexico, and the man to watch is the green car of Ireland, but they're under yellows.
Yes, waved yellow flag down. This is because Switzerland's car is being moved to safety, so nobody... Oh, there's a pass now. That's going to go back in the line. Adam Khan, get back in line. You are not allowed to pass under a yellow flag. If you do, it's at your peril.
Pakistan currently running in 14th. That's the same as their starting position. Here's a look at the start once again.
Well, Alex Young did it perfectly, but France tried everything possible to get under the wing, move one way, back the other way. Darren Manning then did the right thing, stayed wide, allowed himself working room, gave France the chance also to breathe, but got enough momentum to keep ahead of France. But now, side by side, going round turn 1. This is the beginning of 2, and then pitches back into 3, and then you can see as they come into 3, Team GBR in the right pace to consolidate into 4, a lock-up for France, and that saved Great Britain the opportunity to stay in second place, and then pressure from France from Mexico behind.
Yeah, certainly pretty exciting stuff, that first corner. This is what it looked like from just a little further back. Oh, but out of the car now is Giorgio Mondini, so the Swiss car has made it back to the pits. He's also out of the race.
It is Mexico right now, is the team on the move. They are quickest car on track. Salvador Duran in third place, running behind Team GBR, and the gap is 0.2 of a second.
So Malaysia lead. Great Britain, remember, only needing a 7th place or better in this race to wrap up 3rd place in the A1 Grand Prix Series. And with Brazil, they're back in 10th. They're not looking to be putting Great Britain under much pressure at the moment. In fact, Brazil's got to watch out. Ryan Briscoe, driving for Team Australia, is shadowing every move that Christian Fittipaldi makes here.
Got an opportunity for Australia to take that position away from Brazil. They lost that position to Brazil on the opening lap. This car streamed through. This is turn 12, and 13 is the actual exit of the corner now again. There's the amount of power boost remaining. Australia's got 4 shots. Their best place to use one of those now. Australia is still not using it. Brazil did to defend. Australia comes, gets the slipstream. Brazil defends. Can they get down the inside? Not close enough to take the chance.
Just in behind is South Africa, so Stephen Simpson's in 12th, and Portugal's running well. New driver Cesar Campanico, good effort on the first few laps. He's running in 13th position. Right behind him is Team Pakistan, Adam Khan, and then it's USA 15th, Lebanon 16th, Austria 17th, then Germany, China, and then Italy, and of course we've lost both Canada and Switzerland. Still, the racing continues across the line. Again, Australia couldn't quite get alongside the Brazilian car.
And clearly Australia has got more pace, but they're not in a position to take advantage. The pace that's going to happen is going to be at the end of the straight. They couldn't do it fast enough.
3 laps have been completed. There are 12 remaining in this sprint race in China. Malaysia lead by 1.2 seconds over Great Britain. Mexico holding on to 3rd. 4th position France. Ireland 5th. The Netherlands 6th. Indonesia 7th. Then the Czech Republic. New Zealand 9th. And Brazil in 10th.
There's the battle between France and Ireland, with the Netherlands back in 6th place. Those 3 cars, there's a gap now sufficient to reach them to be able to be comfortable with that long 1.1 kilometre straight. And unlikely any one of those 3 will have to use power boost either to attack or defend.
In the background you can see China versus Italy here. Now Italy had a problem on the first lap. Now they're trying to desperately claim some of that ground back once again. Oh, he's right off wide.
And that's the part of track that he went offline in the first corner. He made a mistake trying to dive down the inside, but you can see the frustration all over Toccacello's, not his face, it's over the language, the body language of his car.
Yeah, he's determined to get through, isn't he? He's coming up to turns 11 and 12 here. We're riding on board with Marcinkois as he now tries to defend from Team Italy. Big slide there. This is a tough baptism for the young Chinese driver who's done some practice sessions this year, but he hasn't raced the car up until now, and surely Italy is going to pick up the draft and be able to slip through here.
Well, with the experience of Toccacello and the inexperience of Marcinkois, you would expect that to happen, but looking back you can still see it comes down one way. Well, was that a big dive over to the right by China to defend, or was there a problem? But I think there is a problem for China. Down at Lebanon have spun Graham Rahal has spun down to turn 14.
So they both had to go either side of the Lebanese car, and in that it means Italy managed to go through. They've now and China nearly losing it out of the last corner.
Well, I've never seen anybody lose out of turn 16, but that could have been a first as China got it all sideways. 11 laps to go. Italy's used all power boost. China's still got 3, but really they're now in a position they're not going to challenge Italy in 19th place.
Malaysia continue to lead with 4 laps completed. As you mentioned earlier, John, Mexico may be the one to watch. They're closing on Great Britain a little bit. Great Britain 2nd, Mexico 3rd. Then there's a gap back to France in 4th, Ireland in 5th, and the Netherlands in 6th.
Well, France is going to come under pressure this time down the straight because Ireland were closer to the rear of France's car as they came through those sequence of corners before going on to the straight. There we see 2nd and 3rd, Mexico positioning itself. Ireland now equally getting into position, not trying to pass into turn 11. You can't get it down there, but you can, with the straight line speed Ireland has, get alongside France as long as Alexander Premat isn't so aggressive.
Well, let's see what everyone can do. Still that other battle going on slightly further back between Brazil, Australia, South Africa. But watch here, France, as you say, under pressure from Ireland. Both of them on the power boost. Look at that. Ireland on their last power boost opportunity here. And Mexico, meanwhile, having a think about it. But in the background, the green car of Ireland, not close enough to make a move into turn 14.
Alexander Premat for France, very good on the brakes, very experienced. Michael Devaney back in the car for the first time. He stopped his bodywork. I think it's a bodywork or something on the track. He was hit and thrown up by the wheels. Michael Devaney shadowing every move of France for that battle for 4th.
Quick reminder that Michael Devaney, as you say, back in the car after 2 outings in the car early in the season. Here he comes again on the attack down the inside into turn 1. Michael Devaney takes the place. The 21-year-old from Dublin has got past the French
machine. The last power boost opportunity he had, he used it intelligently. He got a good run off turn 16. He's gone past France. France is now going to have to worry about Netherlands behind. This will give Devaney the opportunity to run in clean, clear air. You see how far he is behind Mexico. It's some 3 seconds in real terms. He will maybe coming into turn 6. Just keep your head, wait until you get on the straight. Your advantage lies there. You have to use it to your best.
John, this has got to be about the first time that we've seen France in a race situation simply not having the pace of their rivals. It really hasn't happened throughout this first season.
No, and the reason is because they used both drivers, Nicolas Lapierre in on Friday, then Alexander Premat in on Saturday, and of course by doing that you are automatically handicapping yourself. Probably that was the reason why we saw bits of bodywork. Austria, Matthias Lauda, front wing, absolutely, you can see it's bent under the front of the car, caught under the leading edge of the underbody of the car. We don't know why, but there is a absolutely perfect pass from Michael Devaney on Alexander Premat going into turn one, and that is a copybook exhibition of how to pass another car.
Yeah, that was a good move from Michael Devaney, there's no doubt about it. And look at the Netherlands now, look how close Jos Verstappen is to the back.
The ground in Johannesburg, I think they
Get a little bit of a lock-up from the rear of that Indonesia car.
Yeah, Indonesia though, the white and red car run they're having as well. This is Ananda Mikkela's best performance of the season so far, and he's going for a move on Verstappen. He's down the inside. Can he make the move stick? I think he has, but he's got to run it not too wide on the exit here, otherwise he'll lose the place again.
He is going to lose the pace because there, I think there might have been contact at back between the two cars. He got it all wrong going into the corner. He found himself in the wrong part of racetrack. Jos Verstappen enabled him to force more pressure onto Ananda Mikkela, but he's coming back. He's quick on the straight, but not close enough on this occasion. He's used all his power for his front. Netherlands have still got 2 shots.
Well, that was a pretty daring move from Ananda Mikkela, the 25-year-old. Best result he's had this season is a 6th place finish. He's in 6th and he wants one better here today, and he's racing hard. I tell you what, Malaysia and Indonesia, 2 teams that do work quite closely together, are showing fantastic pace around this Shanghai International Circuit. Malaysia currently leading and Indonesia in 6th place.
Alex Young has quietly got on with his job. He's got a 4.6-second advantage over Great Britain, whose mirrors are filled with Mexico, and they've got Ireland some 3 seconds behind. Those top are some of the 2nd, 3rd and 4th, all lapping within a 1/10 of a second of each other, so there's not much change likely to occur other than the error.
Brazil in 11th place now. In fact, yes, they've been passed by Australia. Just wanted to check that. Brian Briscoe for Australia, as you can see, ahead of Brazil now. And Stephen Simpson of South Africa in the black and yellow car, he's now beginning to put Christian Fittipaldi under a bit more pressure. Behind them, Team Portugal, and then Pakistan, and then the United States. Phil Geber for the USA, still running in 15th position. We're just over half distance in the sprint race at the Shanghai International Circuit. It's being led by Team Malaysia. They're looking for their first win in the series in the final meeting of the year. Further back, there's a great race here between Brazil and South Africa, just outside the points, because Australia recently moved up to 10th.
Well, here you got youth and experience in the hands of Christian Fittipaldi. You got, well, what are you going to say about Stephen Simpson, a driver who came into A1GP and really has matured and just developed all the way through. He's putting pain into the back of Christian Fittipaldi's car. There you see them coming on to the straight. This battle going on with France. Look at this. Czech Republic. Now that is illegal. Weaving like that is illegal, and that ought to, in my opinion, see the race director hand that down to the stewards. The pass has been made, but Alexander Premat was way out of order. You're allowed to make one blocking move, you're not allowed to move back again, and we've seen Premat do that in previous rounds. That one was blatant, and that ought to be punished.
They seem to be suffering for speed down that straight though, don't they, the French car? Whether that they've got a problem with it or what, but they're certainly not performing up to their normal level. And New Zealand now, the black car of New Zealand is hunting down the World Cup of Motorsport winners, Team France. They might have wrapped it up and they're under pressure. Here comes Stephen Simpson for South Africa in the yellow and black car to the outside into turn 1.
Well, he wasn't far enough alongside to sweep past, but he has got alongside as they go into turn 1. Can he keep that position? Because if he can do what we saw Team GBR do, he can. Christian Fittipaldi again, that's the benefit of experience. It may not be out speed that Christian brings to the show for Brazil, but experience is a very big and important part of it.
Malaysia is still flying out front. They're still lapping more quickly than anybody. They've just put in a new fastest first sector time. Very impressive indeed, this performance from Alex Young. We'll just take a look at that overtake from the Czech Republic on France once again.
Yes, what we missed was what was going on, but look what's going on behind with Brazil and South Africa. That was a major move. Alexander Premat, clearly too many moves.
So that was a look at how Thomas Enger moved himself back into 7th position. Well, we've got 6 laps to go, and that's the sign the drivers will be seeing now. Brazil still up there ahead of South Africa, 11-12. There's Pakistan running 13th. Remember, those guys will probably be now thinking about, well, let's keep the car in one piece for the feature race later on. Anything can happen in a feature race with that pit stop that they have to go through at some point. And they all know that you can get a good result. Now here comes Indonesia again. Another attempt from Ananda Mikula on the inside to get past the Netherlands.
Again, Jos Verstappen goes around the long way, the 2 cars side by side, but Mikula this time did what he really had to do, and that was just let his car run out and put Verstappen under pressure, force Verstappen wide. That is again within the rules. You go round the long way as Verstappen did, you have to be prepared to pay the penalty of not getting the job done.
Just 5 laps to go in the sprint race. You saw confirmation that there's another investigation going on. Lebanon and Austria actually got together. That was why we saw Lebanon spun at turn 14 and the damage to the Austrian car. They had some kind of incident together. Again, France under pressure here from New Zealand. Alexander Premat really struggling in this race to extract some speed from his car. And, well, it's interesting, isn't it? France wrapped up the title in the first race at Laguna Seca. In the second race, they were leading, but they had a battery problem that saw them go out of the race. And now here, they're definitely struggling for pace.
But what they did was by putting both drivers in, giving both drivers in, I think it's a great gesture to both drivers. They've contributed to France's victory in this inaugural round of the A1 Grand Prix series. They've put themselves on the back foot, and you can see how much progress is taking place. Going back to what occurred a lap ago on the main straight, and Ananda Mikula dives down the inside. Jos Verstappen decides, I'm going to go with you, I'm going to try and go around the long way with you, but Mikula lets his car stay wide, and there you see the consequence. Verstappen had to run off track and lost maybe half a second in the consequence. Here's the onboard view, but you see there's the grass, there's the curbing, and Mikula, well, that's why you get past people. You have sometimes to be hard. That was a hard move, as we see race leader put a lap on Lebanon. Yeah, Lebanon were involved in that incident down at this corner earlier on with Team Austria. Keeping out of the way, Great Britain and Mexico still absolutely together here, 2nd and 3rd, and there's still some work to be done. And on that lap coming down into the turn 14, we saw Salvador Duran again on power boost trying to get, he's got 1 shot remaining. Great Britain, he's got 3 shots, so Darren Manning has only used his power boost once, and he hasn't had to use either to defend or to overtake. There are the top 4, Ireland in the background. Currently they're running just 3 seconds behind Mexico in 4th place. Yeah, Team Ireland 4th place currently at the moment. That's the same result as Devani Ernst when he started 6th in Australia as well, so he'd be well pleased with that if he can hold on to it. 5th place for Indonesia, 6th place now for the Czech Republic, which got past the Netherlands on that last lap. Maybe that was as a result of Verstappen running wide at turn 14, but it means that Thomas Enger of the Czech Republic now 6th, the Netherlands back to 7th, France in 8th, New Zealand still hunting them down in 9th, and Australia in the final point scoring position in 10th. On board with Team GBR, Darren Manning, that padding on the left-hand side of the cockpit. That's there to help support his head going through turns 12 and 13. 2 teams that really are in a comfort zone in the closing laps of this race. Malaysia leading Ireland in 4th, they're not under pressure and they're not applying pressure. But here a battle for 2nd place between Great Britain and Mexico is very much alive. Salvador Duran pushing very hard indeed. Ireland will start on the 2nd row of the grid, we believe, and Jos Verstappen is going slowly. Very slowly. There's a major problem for the Netherlands. Picks up a bit of speed again there, but he's got some problem. Maybe he's stuck in gear, and sadly his run is over now. In terms of the battle for 4th place in the championship, I don't think they're going to be able to take 3rd now with what Great Britain's doing, but the 4th place is crucial because now they're going to drop back behind New Zealand, and that's going to make things pretty tight. The Netherlands were only 2 points ahead of them. Look, power boost again used by Mexico, not by GBR. Salvador Duran gone alongside for the first time really. We've seen defence from Team GBR side by side coming up into turn 16, and it's GBR that gets the advantage. Manning's having to really work hard at this to hold on to 2nd place, and as they go across the line they're still
3 laps to go, and Mexico now trying to the outside. Manning will cover the inside. He forces the Mexican driver to go all the way around the long way into turn 1, but Duran is being cautious here. He's all too aware that he could throw a good result away.
Well, that first one is very important, but the reason he's being cautious is because he has matured. He's shown great maturity back in California 3 weeks ago, and that's carrying forward. Previously, back in Indonesia some 3 races ago, he would have gone for that shot. But what is important about this sprint race, okay, you might want to start the front row of the grid, but remember the 30-lap feature race course has got that mandatory wheel change. So start at the second row and be safe, and use your pit stop maybe to then make a pass. That's the sign of growth and maturity from Salvador Duran.
But let's not forget what Darren Manning is doing here. This is his first ever A1 Grand Prix race, and at the moment he's holding off the double winner from Laguna Seca last time out, and a young driver who's had a lot of experience in these cars throughout the season.
And of course this battle for second place is inadvertently allowing Ireland to be drawn up. There you see Ireland just coming into the picture in the background, being drawn up to the back of these 2 cars squabbling over second place.
It's all over for Jos Verstappen. He heads into the pit garage, a shake of the head. Don't know what the problem is, but it's over for the sprint race. Let's hope that they can get that car out for the feature race and we can watch one of his charges through the field. They've been a bit out of luck just recently, and 4th place in the series is going to go down to the wire in the feature race here at Shanghai. So that's something to look forward to.
Well, the 3 cars right now are really racing up in terms of lap time in Indonesia, currently running behind Ireland and Malaysia. Those 3 cars are running in the high 1 minute 53 seconds. The rest are into the 154s, and that includes Team GBR with Darren Manning and Team Mexico. Mexico have dropped back a little bit, 2 laps to go. Maybe they're just going to recompose and try and get a run on Team GBR either at the end of the pit straight or down at the end of that long back straight.
So just under 2 laps to go now. As you say, the gap has opened up there a little bit between Great Britain and Mexico, but Malaysia has a very, very comfortable lead, and Alex Young, so far so good for the man who started on pole position. It's been a long time since he's won a race, but look at him, he's totally in control. He's got the fastest lap in this race, 1:52.893. He has dominated after a great start, hasn't put a wheel wrong. Can he finish the job now with just a lap and a half to go?
Well, you could see him driving. He's driving majestically, I think is the best way to describe it, and took full advantage of that start on pole position, a rolling start. Never ever once had to use his power boost button, and that's an indication as to such a good job that Malaysia have done in getting their car set up. They were on pole position. They consolidated that this morning by being fastest in the warm-up. They're leading this race and never once been challenged.
No, this is really a demonstration run from Alex Young. They've had a 2nd place so far this year, but of course they've had no victories as yet. But there's that battle for 2nd. Great Britain still under pressure from Mexico.
So Mexico again beginning to run down Great Britain, coming through turn 11 into 12. That then continues into 13. There's a bank corner, doesn't show so much on your screen, but in fact that's what causes the load. That's why Darren Manning has that padding added to the left-hand side of the cockpit. His head, in fact, is leaning over to the left, whether he's looking in the mirror or whether he's beginning to feel the pain of 14 laps around this circuit.
Darren Manning on the power boost this time. Johnny had 3 still left, remember, and he used it that time down the long straight, whereas Mexico don't have any left.
A little bit of an overbreak, I think, from Ireland coming down the straight, but this battle, France and New Zealand, again, it was a laps run down, the final lap. Can New Zealand dive down the inside? No.
The leader's gone on to his final lap. These guys have still got a bit more to do, of course, and New Zealand still looking at an opportunity to gain 1 more position. They're in 8th currently. Brazil and South Africa here are running 10th and 11th. So Brazil are on to score 1 point, but at the moment South Africa's just outside the points, and Pakistan very close behind. Adam Khan going well here. It could be in with a shout. A bit of a slide there from Simpson out of the last corner. Here they go on to their final lap now, as Alex Young is already about a 1/3 of the way round.
So Christian Fittipaldi with enough air to give him a chance to breathe going into turn 1. Stephen Simpson and now Adam Khan, these 2 cars chasing down Brazil. Not very much they're going to do on this part of track. They'll wait until they come up onto that main straight. In the meantime, Alex Young again continues round turns 8, drops into 9, and then, I mean, this has been a wheel traffic drive from Malaysian driver Alex Young. A long time since he won his last race. Well, it's taken a long time, and he'll be delighted to get onto that winner's podium.
1997 was the last time he won any kind of a race, I think, and he was Formula Asia champion back in 1995. He moved to the UK, did a lot of racing in British Formula Renault and British F3. His last pole position was in a British Formula Renault race at Donington Park in the Winter Series. But what a result this will be, not only for Young but for the whole nation.
And on his last lap he went over a second faster than the entire field, did a 1 minute 52.5. We see Great Britain coming onto the straight, narrowly defending. They're using power boost button. Salvador Duran still right under the rear wing of Team QBR as we watch Alex Young.
Alex Young coming up to the final corner here in Shanghai, and Malaysia is going to take victory. Malaysia will become the 7th nation to win in A1 Grand Prix, a new winner at the end of the season, and he punches the air in delight. What a result, perfectly driven, and Great Britain takes second. They wrap up third place in the series, holding off Mexico to the flag, and Darren Manning has made a superb debut in the series. Michael Devaney takes 4th for Ireland, and Nanda Mikla takes a superb 5th, their best result for Team Indonesia as well, so double celebrations down there. The Czech Republic in 6th, and France just holding on to 7th ahead of New Zealand and Australia, and I think Brazil is just going to take 10th. Yes, Brazil takes 10th from South Africa and Pakistan.
Well, battles all the way through the field, but what a majestic drive. I've used that word before. It was an outstanding drive from Alex Young as we look at China, Martin Zhang, as he comes down to the end of the straight. It's been a tough day for China. He's made a track time. He's had virtually none through the season, and it will be then the car being handed over to trying to for the second race, and China would maybe hope to get in that feature race into the top 10.
Yeah, well, he's across the line. He finished the race, so of course that gives him an advantage on the grid over some 4 or 5 cars. We had non-finishers from Lebanon. Oh no, I think Lebanon got back out, but they will be behind China. Also behind China will be Netherlands, Austria, Canada and Switzerland. But the celebrations are beginning down there already for the Malaysian camp, because Alex Young has taken them to become the 7th nation to win in A1 Grand Prix, and he did it in such dominant style. We've seen France do that on a few occasions, but that really was a demonstration job. See you in October, it says on that rear wing, indicating the beginning of the next A1 Grand Prix season. But what a way to finish this one.
Isn't it appropriate that the particular weekend that the managing director of Proton Holdings, the car manufacturer that supports the Malaysia entry, he happens to be here along with his head of export division. So 2 very senior members of management of Proton here to see Malaysia win for the first time.
Yeah, that